These numbers speak volumes. In Germany, for example, they view Donald Trump as the greatest threat to world peace. 41% of Germans, and I think they know a thing or two about this, view Trump as a greater threat to world peace than even Kim Jong-un, Khomeini of Iran, Vladimir Putin, and Xi Jinping. Then we go to a recent Pew Research poll. 31 of 34 countries worldwide have significantly more confidence in President Biden than Donald Trump. The overall margin is about plus 15 in favor of President Biden, but in countries like Germany, France, Japan, Canada, Mexico, and UK, President Biden leads by a whopping plus 27, although Hungary and Tunisia do favor Donald Trump. And I want to share with you this video because I think it brings home the point about how abnormal it is to have a figure like Donald Trump. In the recent elections in the UK, you saw a massive victory for Labour over the Conservative Party and a transition of power from Rishi Sunak to Keir Starmer, who leads the Labour Party. I just want to share with you the concession speech of Sunak, the acceptance speech of Starmer, and how it was done with dignity and grace and the types of values and things that once existed here in the United States that Donald Trump has destroyed, that once proud tradition that we have here in the United States. And then I want to show you what Donald Trump's been saying and then President Biden to tie this all together. I think this is one of the most important videos that we've done. International audiences may be like, of course, Ben, we understand this, we know this, but I just want to share this abroad to put this all into appropriate context. So here, Sir Keir Starmer accepting the victory and then praising Rishi Sunak. Here, play this clip.
I want to thank the outgoing Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. His achievement as the first British Asian Prime Minister of our country, the extra effort that will have required should not be underestimated by anyone. And we pay tribute to that today. And we also recognise the dedication and hard work he brought to his leadership. But now our country has voted decisively for change, for national renewal, and a return of politics to public service. When the gap between the sacrifices made by people and the service they receive from politicians grows this big, it leads to a weariness in the heart of a nation, a draining away of the hope, the spirit, the belief in a better future, that we need to move forward together.
Okay, now here is the former Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, accepting defeat, accepting responsibility, and I think doing it in a very humble manner. Look, I lost, I let you down. Just watch this.
Good morning. I will shortly be seeing His Majesty the King to offer my resignation as Prime Minister. To the country, I would like to say first and foremost, I am sorry. I have given this job my all, but you have sent a clear signal that the government of the United Kingdom must change, and yours is the only judgment that matters. I have heard your anger, your disappointment, and I take responsibility for this loss. To all the Conservative candidates and campaigners who worked tirelessly but without success, I am sorry that we could not deliver what your efforts deserved. It pains me to think how many good colleagues who contributed so much to their communities and our country will now no longer sit in the House of Commons. I thank them for their hard work and their service. Following this result, I will step down as party leader, not immediately, but once the formal arrangements for selecting my successor are.
Now compare that to a clip of Donald Trump, who refuses to accept defeat. Play this clip.
What do you say to that female independent suburban voter who feels that way, to win her back?
First of all, I won in 2020 by a lot, okay? Let's get that straight. I won in 2020.
You know that
and if you look at all of the tapes, if you look at everything that you want to look at, you take a look at Truth to Vote, where they have people stuffing the ballot boxes on tapes, or
Mr. President,
let's go to recent. Well, wait a minute. Let's go to recent. FBI Twitter. Let's go to recent. The 51 agents, all corrupt stuff, Brett.
Understand about the Hunter Biden,
no, but
all
that's cheating
fair
on the
things.
election.
But
that's cheating on the election.
You lost the 2020 election.
Brett, you take a look at all of the stuffed ballots. You take a look at all of the things, including things like the 51 intelligence agents.
There were recounts in all of the swing states. There was not significant widespread
We're trying to get recounts, real recounts, not just
investigations,
numbers of votes
widespread
cast.
corruption. There was not a sense of that. There were lawsuits, more than 50 of them, by your lawyers, some in front of judges that you appointed.
Look at Wisconsin.
That came out with no evidence.
Wisconsin has practically admitted it was rigged. Other states are doing the same right now, and it's continuing on.
There have been reviews of every
election.
potential case of voter fraud in 6 battleground states, and they found fewer than 475 cases.
You know why? Because they didn't look at the right things.
Okay,
Brett.
are you going to be
counting? They were counting ballots, not the authenticity of the ballot. The ballots were fake ballots. You had this was a very rigged election.
Are you going to go? This is how you're going to tell that independent suburban woman voter
No,
to vote for you?
We're off to winning an election, and I think we're winning very well. I got a poll just recently. I have it here.
No, I know, and I watched the numbers.
Here's another clip of Donald Trump. Play this clip.
I think that when you look at that result and when you look at what happened during that election, unless you're a very stupid person, you see what happens. A lot of the people in this audience, and maybe a couple that don't, but most people understand what happened. That was a rigged election, and it's a shame that we had to go through it. It's very bad for our country. All over the world, they looked at it, and they saw exactly what everyone else saw. You look, even if you just look recently with the 51 intelligence agents, that made a 16-point difference. If you look at the FBI, if you look at the FBI and Twitter, they call it Twitter files, made a big difference. If you look at
Mr. President, back to what you just said there, though, it was not a rigged election. It was not a stolen election. You and your supporters lost more than 60 court cases on the election. It's been nearly 2.5 years. Can you publicly acknowledge that you did lose the 2020 election?
Let me just go on. If you look at True the Vote, they found millions of votes on camera, on government cameras, where they were stuffing ballot boxes. So.
And then you have someone like Donald Trump go in churches and then just start cursing. Play the clip.
So they come up with something that's fake, just like everything else they do. It's all fake. The impeachments are fake. The court cases are a disgrace to our country. Everything is fake. So they come up with this order. I won't say it because I don't like using the word bullshit in front of these beautiful children. So I won't say it. I will not say it. But this thing allows millions of people.
Now compare that to President Biden, who certainly more of an analog with Starmer and Sunak and traditions of democracy that used to exist here in the United States and abroad. And I think it's important that we show this connective tissue of the pro-democracy community at an international level, because I just think it's eye-opening when we look at this all together. Watch President Biden.
Let me close with this. Last month, Jill and I traveled to Normandy, France to commemorate the 80th anniversary of D-Day. We met with American veterans, some of them about 12 or 14 over 102 years old. Veterans who toured we toured the battlegrounds, went to the cemeteries, and looked at what was happening. There should be no question about it. All those who served as members of the military were heroes, genuine heroes, heroes for freedom, democracy, and America. Look, now decades later, we have to look at ourselves and ask the question, will we stand for freedom again? We stand for democracy. Will we stand together as Americans? I believe we will and we can.
And so if you think about it, one of the factors that's different here in the United States versus abroad, and people are saying, how don't you see that here? Well, in the United States, we have propaganda media. Our corporate media has been taken over by billionaires and 100 millionaires or decamillionaires who consistently inject disinformation into our country each and every day to turn us against each other and to hoist up Donald Trump and to hoist up this hate. And that's caught on in this country in a way that is humiliating and embarrassing. And America is better than that. Look, I still believe the silent majority of America, 65+%, decent, smart, intelligent, fact-based, supports democracy. The question is will they show up? Or will they feel that their agency has been taken from them by corporate media, by this MAGA movement? We know the historical data points where fascism thrives, where authoritarian regimes thrive, is it's usually a smaller group of people who have defeated the morale of the majority to make the majority feel there's nothing you can do, that the takeover of fascism is inevitable, and just to let it happen. That's what we've seen time and time again, whether it's through fear, whether it's through complacency. But I'll tell you this, we've got here in the United States about 3 to 4 months left to go to save our democracy. That is a lot of time. I think it's important that we watch videos like the ones I just showed you earlier and develop an international perspective and a perspective on what historical perspective and what we can do. That's what we're going to talk about here at the MeidasTouch Network over and over again. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million together. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.